لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين لا أقسم بهذا البلد وأنت حل بهذا البلد ووالد وما ولد لقد خلقنا الإنسان في كبد أيحسب أن يقدر عليه أحد يقول أهلكت مالا لبدا أيحسب أن لم يره أحد ألم نجعل له عينين ولسانا وشفتين وهديناه النجدين فلاقتحم العقبة وما أدراك ما العقبة فك رقبة أو إطعام في يوم ذي مسغبة يتيما ذا مقربة أو مسكينا ذا متربة ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة أولئك أصحاب الميمنة والذين كفروا بآياتنا هم أصحاب المشأمة والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها أولئك أصحاب الميمنة والذين كفروا بآياتنا هم أصحاب المشأمة عليهم نار مؤصدة الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر Allahu Akbar. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Yeah.
So maybe you need to say before.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's not like
Yeah. I can make it.
last time we did.
Yeah, I can do that.
We're not saying like 2,000, not like just what are the
I can do this. Yeah. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. So alhamdulillah, it's a blessing, it's a privilege to see all these folks here today. Inshallah, as you all know, we're having our Qur'an khatam, our completion of the recitation of the Qur'an, inshallah, tonight. So just so you all know, in terms of the schedule, we're going to be praying the 8 rakats of tadweer that we normally pray. We'll then be doing our witr prayer immediately after. And then it is after the witr prayer that we'll then have the group dua, the group supplication that we'll do collectively. We are still continuing our qiyam and our tarawih beyond tonight. So tomorrow morning, right, it's still an odd night throughout the night. We're going to be praying at 4 a.m. And inshallah, tomorrow night, Monday night, we still have another night of tarawih that we're doing as well, and another night of qiyam the following morning. So we're completing the Qur'an tonight, but the worship doesn't stop. Inshallah, that continues until the end of Monday night into Tuesday morning. We have a lot of folks that are here, so I think actually let me get to that last. Reminder that we're praying Fajr at 5:50 a.m., so that's happening here. Also, just because there's a lot of people here, the management didn't necessarily feel strongly about it, but I think it's worth saying. This masjid, this institution, it's continued to be a pillar of support, of benefit to generations of people that have come through Berkeley, that have come through the city, through the university. So for anyone who's here tonight, if you are able to at all, whether through online or through the kiosk here or through the boxes here, if you can donate something just so that the barakah, the blessing of what you've been able to gain from, we can continue to pay it forward for people that'll come after us. We just want to make sure that the operations and all that can continue to sustain itself. There is also a fundraiser that's happening. Sister Fatima is raising funds for a youth group to start here at the masjid. She's selling cookies, so you can be on the lookout for her. I think she might also be downstairs as well, but another opportunity to give there as well. Before we start, I think what we want to do is we want to have basically everyone stand up, but the brothers specifically first. We want to shorten the gap between the rows just to make as much space as possible, so that way the sisters have more space and we as the brothers are taking up less space. So if you can start to form the rows and just close in as much of the gap between you and the row in front of you to make sure we're minimizing any additional space that's getting lost. We can start to stand up. Is there space in the back? Oh, I don't know about that. It's gonna get really hot because of the sound. Oh man.
Shipping good until 10. Also texted trying to want as many people or just as a lot of people who want to stuff like that. Trying to list it. Try to get as much people.
Okay. No worries. And I'll make an announcement about that too.
Salat as-Sunnah al-Tarawih. Inshallah, we're starting from Surah Al-Layl. That's the chapter entitled The Night, Surah Al-Layl. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى إن سعيكم لشتى فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى وأما من بخل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره للعسرى وما يغني عنه ماله إذا تردى إن علينا للهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى الذي كذب وتولى وسيجنبها الأتقى الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى وما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى ولسوف يرضى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله ورحمة الله. Inshallah, there's going to be an additional sajda, an additional prostration in the second rak'ah. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين
إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى إن إلى ربك الرجعى أرأيت الذي ينهى عبدا إذا صلى أرأيت إن كان على الهدى أو أمر بالتقوى أرأيت إن كذب وتولى ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى
inshallah. So we'd like to give him a warm welcome.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. وعليكم السلام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So alhamdulillah, we've made it to this auspicious and very celebratory day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. That with the Qur'an we should rejoice, we should be happy. And firstly, I just wanted to start off by thanking a few people. It's been a very special experience leading here this year. And for the past about 6 years, I started leading here in 2017. And it's been amazing just seeing the community change every year, because this is a unique community in the sense that every single year there's a new crowd. And you know, when I came here first, I was the youngest person here. Now I feel like I'm one of the older ones. But you know, even though so much has changed, one thing that hasn't changed is people coming up to me and telling me how slow I read. That's a constant. Inshallah, next year, you won't have to deal with that. I also wanted to thank the administration here, management. They make things very smooth for all of us. I want to thank Brother Afraz. He's been a great partner in crime, and he's, mashallah, a great leader that we have in our community, so we're all blessed to have him. And even more than learning from his talks, I got to learn from his character, dealing with him for the past 2 years in Taraweeh. He's an amazing, amazing brother, mashallah. May Allah reward him. So with that being said, I want to jump into the khatira for today, which is going to be about the miraculous nature of the Qur'an. The Prophet ﷺ said that every single prophet was given miracles. And the only miracle that I was given was the wahi, was the revelation. Now all of us here know that the Prophet ﷺ was given many miracles. The splitting of the moon, the ability to take small amounts of food and make it feed large quantities of people. He was given many miracles. So why is he saying innama, the only miracle? The reason for this is because the value of the Qur'an is so great that it eclipses all of the other miracles that he was given. It's like when you go out in the night, you see stars. And then when the sun comes out, the sun eclipses all of those lights that are out. So the Qur'an is such a powerful miracle that all of the other ones that he was given pale in comparison. And what we should realize about miracles in general is that every prophet was given miracles that were related to the expertise of their time. So we go to Musa alayhi salam. During his time, the ancient Egyptians, they were known for magic. Even now, people look at the magic that they used to do. So what miracle was Musa alayhi salam given? He was given the staff turning into a snake. The ability to take out his hand and it glows. Because people of the time would know that the furthest limits of their expertise cannot accomplish that. During Isa alayhi salam's time, the Roman Empire was known for their medicine. They prided themselves on medicine, just like the Bay Area prides itself on its technology. LA area prides itself on entertainment. The Roman Empire was priding themselves on medicine. So Allah gave Isa alayhi salam miracles that were related to medicine, such as being born without a father, such as giving life to the dead, giving a clay bird life, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Now the question is, during the Prophet ﷺ's time, what were the Arabs known for? What was their expertise? And you know, one of the ancient historians, whose name was Herodotus, he said that none of the empires of the past were ever interested in conquering the Arabs, because the Arabs had nothing to offer. In fact, Alexander the Great, he came to the gates of the Arabian Peninsula and he told his armies to turn back. Because Arabian Peninsula had nothing to offer except desert and heat. But one thing that the Arabs had that no other people had was eloquence. They prided themselves on their ability to articulate. And this is why their culture was filled with poetry. They had the mu'allaqat. Every year they would have competitions in which they would get the best poetry and hang it up on the Kaaba. So Allah gave His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam a miracle that would overcome and conquer the expertise of that time. And so there are a few stories. The famous one is that of Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira. Al-Walid was known to be the Shakespeare of his time. He was the best poet amongst the Arabs. And he once heard the recitation of the Qur'an. Now keep in mind, he was a staunch disbeliever. He hated the Prophet ﷺ. And when he heard the Qur'an, he couldn't control himself, and he started doing poetry praising it. What did he say? إِنَّ لَهُ لَحَلَاوَةً وَإِنَّ عَلَيْهِ لَطَلَاوَةً وَإِنَّهُ لَيَعْلُو وَلَا يُعْلَى. That this is a speech which has sweetness to it. This is a speech which has elongation and beauty to it. This is a speech that conquers and is inconquerable. Now he's a disbeliever and he's saying these lines. And word begins to spread around town. The leaders of the Quraysh become worried. If people find out what Walid has said, then they'll become Muslim. So Abu Jahl, out of all people, he goes to the house of Al-Walid and he says, you have to retract your statement. You have to take it back. You have to critique the Qur'an so people don't misunderstand you. So Walid is sitting alone in his house. And he is stressing out, thinking, what should I say about the Qur'an? I know Muhammad ﷺ is not a poet, because I'm the best poet amongst the Arabs. We all know he's not a crazy man. He's lived amongst us for more than 40 years. He kept thinking, and he was so stressed and anxious that he was pacing back from one side of the room to the other. Now he's all alone, so how do we even know this story? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala captures it in the Qur'an. Allah captures his psychological state. He says, إِنَّهُ فَكَّرَ وَقَدَّرَ فَقُتِلَ كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ ثُمَّ قُتِلَ كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ ثُمَّ نَظَرَ ثُمَّ عَبَسَ وَبَسَرَ ثُمَّ أَدْبَرَ وَاسْتَكْبَرَ. Telling us about the stress that he had, the sweat that was coming out of his face. He couldn't help himself. And the only thing he could come up with is فَقَالَ إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا سِحْرٌ يُؤْثَرُ. That this is magic. And him saying that this is magic is actually an indirect praise of the Qur'an. Why? Because he's already recognized that this is above human capacity. This is otherworldly. And Allah gave us this miracle which is for the ears to hear, not for the eyes to see. All of the other prophets were given miracles for the eyes to see. Why? Because this is the last and final message to come. So it has to last, the miracle has to last till the end of times. Those miracles that came to the prophets before, they happen in a moment and then they're gone. But the Qur'an, it escapes the space and time limitations. Subhanallah. So another story that I want to mention is that of Umar radiallahu anh. Umar radiallahu anh, before he became a Muslim, he was out in Mecca late night. And he went to the area of the Haram, and he found no one there except Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was praying salah and reciting Qur'an out loud. So Umar radiallahu anh thought to himself, let me quietly and secretly listen to what he's saying. So he went and hid right behind the clock of the Kaaba, and he listened very closely. The Prophet ﷺ was reciting, Al-Haqqatu mal-Haqqatu wa ma adraka mal-Haqqa. And he kept going on. And Umar radiallahu anh was so mesmerized by the speech that he thought to himself, this must be an expert poet. And the next line that Rasulullah ﷺ read was, وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَاعِرٍ. This is not the speech of a poet. قَلِيلًا مَا تُؤْمِنُونَ. How little do you believe? Right when Umar radiallahu anh saw that, he read his mind, he thought to himself, this must be a sorcerer. Then Rasulullah read, وَلَا بِقَوْلِ كَاهِنٍ. This is not the speech of a sorcerer. قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. How little do you remember? تَنْزِيلٌ مِّن رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. This is revelation from the Lord of the worlds. So I mention all of these things because we are here today on an occasion where we celebrate this blessing that we have, this miracle that we have. And every blessing in our life comes with responsibilities. Every miracle in our life comes with responsibilities. So what should our responsibilities and obligations be towards the Qur'an? I'm going to give you 5. Number 1 is qira'atul Qur'an. Reading and reciting the Qur'an. We should all have a daily recitation and routine in reciting the Qur'an. And if you don't know how to read, then you start with alif bata, you learn the correct pronunciation, and you progress from there. No one should feel ashamed, even if you're older, to start from alif bata. Because the harder it is for you, the more reward you're going to get. So number 1 is qira'atul Qur'an. Number 2 is hifdhul Qur'an. Each and every one of us should memorize some Qur'an. This doesn't mean that everyone here has to become a hafiz, although that would be amazing if everyone did. But we all have to memorize a portion of the Qur'an. The Sahaba were not all huffaz, but they did memorize some Qur'an. Now these two, the problem that we have in our communities and in our cultures is that we put all of our focus on these two, and we stop there. How many khatams can you do in Qur'an, of the Qur'an in Ramadan? That's all we think about. But we have to move on to the next stage. The third level is fahmul Qur'an, understanding the Qur'an. What are the deeper lessons and wisdoms of this book? What guidance is this book providing you? And for this, we should all be learning the Arabic language. We should all be listening to tafsir, durus, to lectures, to understand deeper. Now even these 3, the purpose of doing these 3 is so that you can get to number 4. And number 4 is amalul Qur'an. It is to act upon the Qur'an. One of the Sahaba, the senior Sahaba, he lived a very long life. All of the other companions had passed away. And he came to one of the tabi'een and he said, Khatamtul Qur'an. I finished the Qur'an. And he had a big smile on his face. The tabi'i says to him, what's the big deal? You finished the Qur'an. Something that children are doing. What's so special about completing the Qur'an? It's like if an imam comes to you and says, I have memorized Surah Al-Ikhlas. Like, yeah, that's what Sunday school kids are doing. So the tabi'i is confused. Why is he so happy about this? And then he says, no, you've misunderstood what I'm saying. Khatamtul Qur'an bil a'mal. I have completed the Qur'an with actions. With actions. And the funny part about this was that the last action that he did, that which has to do with knocking on the door 3 times before you leave. Every time he'd go to someone's door and knock, they'd open the door, so he couldn't fulfill the commandment. Then finally, the person didn't open, so then he finished the commandments of the Qur'an and avoided its prohibitions. So inshallah, these are the 5. Number 1 was Qira'atul Qur'an, number 2, Hifdul Qur'an, number 3, Fahmul Qur'an, 4 is Amalul Qur'an, and number 5 is Tablighul Qur'an, which is spreading this book. Going out, telling people about it, teaching people. Now you might say, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a hafiz, I can't do this. Everyone has the responsibility to spread the Qur'an within your limitations. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the honor of serving His book. We ask Allah ta'ala to allow us to use this Ramadan and the closeness that we've gained as momentum going into this next year. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Kareem wa nafa'ni wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-hakim. And inshallah we'll continue with the Tarawih.
Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الكتاب والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة رسول من الله يتلو صحفا مطهرة وما تفرق الذين أوتوا الكتاب إلا من بعد ما جاءتهم البينة وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا الله مخلصين له الدين حنفاء ويقيموا الصلاة ويؤتوا الزكاة وذلك دين القيمة إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين في نار جهنم خالدين فيها أولئك هم شر البرية إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أولئك هم خير البرية جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه ذلك لمن خشي ربه إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية. ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر ويل لكل همزة لمزة الذي جمع مالا وعدده يحسب أن ماله أخلده كلا لينبذن في الحطمة وما أدراك ما الحطمة نار الله الموقدة التي تطلع على الأفئدة إنها عليهم مؤصدة في عمد ممددة ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله الصلاة الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
I got one more.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, before we proceed to make this group dua, I just wanted to share a couple things just in terms of mentally, emotionally, where we want to strive to be at. Imam al-Tabrani rahimahullah, he narrates that the Prophet tells us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that whosoever prays an obligatory prayer has an accepted supplication, and whosoever completes a reading of the entirety of the Qur'an has an accepted supplication. We make this dua now, at the end of us having completed this Qur'an, because our Messenger tells us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that on the other side of it is an accepted supplication. When we raise our hands, we remember who we're raising our hands to. We raise our hands to the one that our Messenger describes, alayhi salatu wasalam, as being generous and being shy. Allah Azza wa Jalla says that He is shy when His servant raises their hands to Him to return them empty-handed and disappointed. We raise our hands to the one who is looking to give. I know right now there are a lot of us in this room. It's a little stuffy, it's a little hot. But I want to push ourselves to be as present as we can in these very last final moments of this month of Ramadan. The pious predecessors, when they looked at dua, they saw it as a win-win-win situation. Because as the narration tells us, we either have our du'as accepted in the way that Allah Azza wa Jal has, in the way that we ask Him, or Allah Azza wa Jal protects us from something that would have otherwise afflicted us, or that du'a is stored amongst our treasures in the life to come. And the scholars, they say, for the people who see their unanswered du'as in the life to come, they say, Ya Allah, how I wish more of my du'as went unanswered. There is no losing when we ask of Allah Azza wa Jal, but the thing we have to guard our hearts from is this hastiness. The Prophet tells us, alayhi salatu wasalam, when the companions asked, what do you mean by hasty? And he says that it is the person who says, I asked of Allah, and I asked and I asked, and they get frustrated by the one who is al-mujib, and they leave that dua. We don't want to be amongst those people. You could not have coordinated the number of people and the journeys, the experiences, the places from which people have come to be in this room today. There are people here just on a one-year program in the States. Some people are working on a 3-month term. Some people who stumbled upon Berkeley Masjid after Google searching it on Google Maps. There is a unique barakah to this gathering, and with that comes the power of our dua. We put out a dua request form, and there were over 80 responses that came through. We have brothers and sisters who are praying alongside us right now, who are going through extreme difficulty and calamity. So when we show up for this dua, we show up for ourselves, but we also show up for our brothers and sisters who made special dua requests because they are going through difficulty. And the way that we participate is we say Ameen to each and every one of these du'as. The Prophet tells us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that to seal a du'a, to complete a du'a, we say Ameen. Truly, let it be so. We say Ameen. So, I would suggest, in whatever way you can get comfortable, you have enough space to sit around. Again, we push ourselves in these last few nights and in these last few moments to maintain that attention, that focus, for the sake of ourselves and for the sake of dua that we make for our brothers and sisters as well.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات الحمد لله على كل حال يا أرحم الراحمين يا نور السماوات والأرض يا حي يا قيوم يا غفور يا ودود يا صبور يا شكور يا مجيب يا كريم يا أحكم الحاكمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا في رمضان وقيامنا وركوعنا وسجودنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا وجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة لك وأرنا مناسكنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الميزان وقنا عذاب يوم القيامة ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم افتح علينا فتوح العارفين ووفقنا توفيق الصالحين وانفعنا اللهم بالقرآن والذكر الحكيم اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدنيا والآخرة اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من الهم والحزن ونعوذ بك من العجز والكسل ونعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل ونعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال نسألك فهم النبيين وحفظ المرسلين المقربين اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان اللهم منزل الكتاب ومجري السحاب وهازم الأحزاب اهزمهم وانصرنا عليهم اللهم أصلح أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم فرج عن أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم ارحم أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم يا أرحم الراحمين. Ya Allah, you are the most merciful of those who show mercy. You are the light of the heavens and the earth. Ya Allah, you are the majestic one and the loving one. You are the bountiful one. You are our protector and our helper, the guider of our hearts and the ultimate custodian of our souls. Ya Allah, you give us life and you give us death. You feed us and you clothe us. You watch over us. You heal us when we are sick. You give us strength when we are weak. You fix us when we are broken and you guide us when we are lost. Ya Allah, you've never left our side. Ya Allah, before we ask of anything, Ya Rabb, we thank you. We thank you for gathering us here tonight on this 29th night of Ramadan to be in the blessed presence of one another in a gathering that supersedes any other possible gathering we could be a part of, because this is a gathering in which we remember you. Ya Allah, we thank you for the blessing of this month, and our gratitude is never enough, but Ya Allah, inspire us to be more grateful. Ya Allah, this is the month of miracles, the month of your Qur'an, the month in which you appointed your beloved sallallahu alayhi wasallam as our beautiful master, as our beautiful prophet, and as our beautiful guide. Ya Allah, as your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam would say, Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Ya Allah, you are the pardoner and forgiver, and you love to pardon and forgive, so we ask that you pardon and forgive us. Ya Allah, we ask that you permanently purge our souls of even the slightest traces of negativity and evil. Forgive us for the things that we've done knowingly and unknowingly, openly and secretly. Forgive us for the sins both big and small. Forgive us and pardon us, Ya Rabb. Ya Allah, you tell us in your Qur'an that for the one who turns back to you, who trusts in you and strives in your way, you not only forgive them, but you transform all of their mistakes, all of their falls, all of their sins into deeds of righteousness. Make us from amongst those people. Ya Allah, you command us through your verses to never despair in your mercy. So Ya Allah, we trust your mercy. We believe in your mercy, and we ask that through your mercy, Ya Rabb, you forgive us. Separate us from our sins as you have separated the east from the west. And Ya Allah, if it is our job or the company we keep or the spaces we frequent or the products we use or the things we consume, if any of these things are causing us to sin, then strengthen us to remove it from our lives and replace it with what is better, Ya Rabb. Strengthen us to overcome our vices for the sake of you and you alone. Ya Allah, so many of us have come to this month not thinking that we deserve this month of mercy, having fallen away from you, having fallen away from your Qur'an, having fallen away from your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But Ya Rabb, you see a beauty within us, you see a purpose within us that led you to decide that our soul should be amongst those that should be returned back to their bodies to live another day in this world, that our soul should be amongst those that could experience another Ramadan in this world. Ya Allah, we did not stumble upon this month, but you invited us to it so that we could be brought closer to you. Ya Allah, allow us to see the beauty that you see within us. Allow us to see the strength and the potential you see within us. Grant us the wisdom to use the gifts that you have given us for your sake alone. Ya Allah, we begin with our heart, and we ask that, Ya Rabb, you being the transformer of hearts, make our hearts firm on this deen. Make us steadfast on the straight path, Sirat al-Mustaqim. Grant us a certitude and an awareness that whatever we experience in this life, it comes from you and you alone. Grant us the reassurance that both the blessings and the tests that are meant to strengthen us, we know it to be written by none other than you, O most merciful of those who show mercy. Ya Allah, grant us hearts that attain a true lasting contentment through the remembrance of you and the sunnah of your Khalil, your friend Ibrahim alayhi salam. Grant us hearts that are qalbun salim. Grant us sound hearts, Ya Rabb. Make us from amongst those who only meet you with a sound heart. Give us the best of guidance. Give us the best of Islam. Give us the best of faith of Iman. And give us the best of Ihsan. Ya Allah, we came here tonight to worship you, and our worship is a form of protest. It is a form of protest against the materialistic demands of this world, against the fleeting calls of the dunya that try to distract us with momentary pleasures only designed to damage our souls. Ya Allah, we said no to all of that. We said we wanted to be here tonight. We came here because we love you. We came here because we seek you. We came here because we have nothing but you. We have no purpose without you. We have no direction without you. Ya Allah, we stood in prayer for hours each and every night, knowing there's no one better to stand in front of. Ya Allah, for those of us who don't understand the Arabic language, we still saw it as an honor to listen to your divine words and be enveloped in your divine speech. So Ya Allah, we ask that you accept our salah. We ask that you accept our standing. We ask that you accept our bowing and our prostrating. We ask that you accept the Qur'an that has been listened to and that has been recited in this month. Overlook any deficiencies in what we have presented to you. Ya Allah, we ask that for all the days and the nights and the hours that we stood in prayer, that Ya Allah, through it you transform our souls and bring us closer to you. Ya Allah, through it you enable us to hold on to your rope more firmly. Ya Allah, for the honor that you've given Arham and I to lead, we ask that you bless our families, our teachers, and our communities. Ya Allah, bless this community for trusting and entrusting us with this responsibility. Raise this community for every letter of Qur'an that was recited. Ya Allah, let it be written on our record that we bore witness to the recitation of and listening to this Qur'an. Make us true companions of the Qur'an. Make us amongst those who memorize it and recite it, amongst those who teach it and live by it in our thoughts and in our actions. Bless all of us to embark on that Qur'an memorization journey, and let the Qur'an intercede for us on that day of judgment. Ya Allah, you tell us this book is a healing and a guide and a mercy. So Ya Rabb, through the recitation of this Qur'an, we ask that you grant us a complete healing, grant us complete guidance, and grant us complete rahmah, complete mercy. Ya Allah, we ask for any of the worship that we perform in this month of Ramadan, that through it our hearts are permanently drawn closer to you. Through it they are permanently drawn closer to the tradition of your Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Through it they are permanently drawn closer to the most beautiful of your verses, the Qur'an. In the same way we establish the salah in this month, enable us to establish the salah permanently in our lives. Make us amongst those who find everlasting contentment through the salah and are patient in offering it. In the same way we gave of our wealth in this month, Ya Rabb, enable us to endlessly spend of our bounties in our life. In the same way we spent moments reading and reflecting upon your Qur'an, enable us to remain consistently engaged with your Qur'an. In the same way we held back our tongue from slander, from backbiting, from foul language while fasting, enable us to use our tongue only for truth and for good purpose in our lives. Ya Allah, for any good intention we made in this month, any actions we committed, whether perfect or imperfect, we ask that through it you raise our souls to heights unimaginable. Ya Allah, if tonight is Laylatul Qadr, let it be written that we spent this night in worship. Ya Allah, grant us the reward of worship superseding that of 1,000 months. If Laylatul Qadr has already passed, then Ya Allah, write it for us. And if it is to come, enable us to bear witness to it and reap its blessings. Ya Allah, in your Qur'an, you share the beautiful stories of the prophets and the pious predecessors and the messengers of the past. Grant us the attributes of those of the pious before us. Grant us the humility of our mother and father Adam and Hawa alayhim as-salam, who were both willing to accept their mistake of eating from the forbidden tree and turn back to you. Protect us from embodying the attributes of Shaitan, who was too arrogant to admit he was wrong. Give us the conviction of Nuh alayhi salam, who stayed true to his mission even after being rejected for 950 years. Give us the strength of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ya Rabb, who sacrificed his own son after begging him for you, Ya Rabb, out of a desire to submit to your command. Ya Allah, give us the blessing of returning to the house that Ibrahim alayhi salam and his son built. Give us the privilege of performing Hajj and Umrah, and enable us to visit your Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. Give us the patience of Ayyub alayhi salam, who endured physical torment for years while patiently remaining steadfast. Give us the wisdom of Yusuf alayhi salam, who saved his people by planning a strategy on how to handle the impending famine. Give us the resilience of Maryam alayhi salam, our mother, who trusted in your plan even when she was vehemently attacked for giving birth to Isa alayhi salam. Give us the courage of Musa alayhi salam, who was willing to confront Fir'aun, the most tyrannical of rulers, to ensure that no more justice and oppression occurred. Give us the fearlessness of Asiya alayhi salam, the wife of Fir'aun, who was willing to die if it meant proclaiming there's none worthy of worship except you. Give us the eloquence of Isa alayhi salam, who even as a young infant clearly and confidently claimed his submission to you. Ya Allah, put in our hearts a deep love of the way these individuals loved you. Ya Allah, we hate to say it, but there are times that the forces of this fleeting world, the forces of this transient world push us to doubt you. They push us to question you. They push us to question your mercy. Ya Allah, these forces that push us to feel alone and isolated. Ya Rabb, there are days in our lives where we stand in worship, we attempt to stand in prayer, and we struggle to know whether you are there listening to us and responding to our prayer. But Ya Allah, you tell us in the Qur'an that you are near, that you are always close, that you are the wali, the intimate protector and helper that takes those who believe out of darkness and into the light, that you are closer to us than our own jugular vein. Ya Rabb, grant us souls that are taken out of the depths of darkness. Ya Allah, allow us to feel your closeness. Ya Allah, we come to you broken and we ask that you ease us of our depression, ease us of our anxiety, ease us of our insecurity, ease us of our mental, physical, and psychological abuse, ease us of the trauma that we've endured, ease us of our suicidal thoughts, heal us, Ya Rabb, of the things that only you alone know that we struggle with, ease us of the pain that we wish not to inflict upon others but struggle not to inflict upon ourselves, purge us of the dark spaces within our minds that we go to when we lose hope and we lose sight of you. Ya Rabb, through whatever we are enduring right now in our life of difficulty, give us the iman, the faith to persevere through it. Ya Allah, grant us success through our hardship. Grant us a sound heart through our hardship. Grant us newfound resilience and strength through our hardship. Grant us newfound contentment through whatever hardship we're enduring. Grant us newfound ability to appreciate our blessings through hardship. Grant us deeper empathy for those who are struggling through hardship. And Ya Rabb, we ultimately ask that you relieve us of whatever hardship it is that we are currently afflicted with, Ya Rabb. Ya Allah, as you purge us from darkness, we ask that you bring us into the light. You are the light of the heavens and the earth, and we ask that you illuminate our hearts, illuminate our tongues and our eyes and our ears, illuminate our presence and everything around us. Ya Allah, let our souls emanate a light so powerful through which we can permanently transform the people and the society around us. Let us serve as beacons of hope and sources of support. Let us serve as facilitators of systemic change, Ya Rabbul Alameen. Let us be the souls through which your divine light is disseminated unto this world. Ya Rabbul Alameen, your Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would beseech you and asking you for the best of this life and the best in the next, and protection from the fire. Ya Allah, grant us forgiveness, healing, and permanent stability in our dunya and in our deen affairs, in our wealth and in our family affairs. Ya Allah, we seek refuge with you from the withdrawal of your blessings, from the reversal of good health and well-being, from the suddenness of your punishment and your displeasure. Grant us the best of physical, mental, emotional health. Enable us to take care of our bodies, Ya Rabb. For those of us who are suffering injuries, physical ailments, heal us so we can use our bodies to the fullest extent. Ya Allah, we ask that you teach us what benefit us. Make us benefit from that which you have taught us, and increase us in our knowledge and in our deeds of acceptance. Ya Allah, grant us ease, contentment, and success in the attainment of our rizq. Ya Allah, for those of us approaching exams or prelims, for those of us approaching job interviews and application processes, grant us the best of success, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Let our success draw us closer to you, Ya Rabb. Oh Allah, for those of us applying to undergraduate and graduate programs or appealing decisions, grant them the best of admission at institutions and enable them to benefit this ummah. Ya Allah, put barakah in the educational endeavors of our Cal students and Zaytuna students, of all our university and college and high school and elementary and middle school students. Ya Allah, for those of us unemployed, those of us looking for work, those of us seeking an internship, those in need of a livelihood, those struggling to find work, Ya Allah, grant all of us the best of rizq and grant us more than we are seeking. Ya Allah, if we are struggling, put barakah in our struggle and make it easy for us. Ya Allah, grant us education and jobs and careers that are good for our deen and for our dunya. Grant us career opportunities, Ya Rabb, that improve us in our iman. Grant us rizq that is truly pure and truly halal. Ya Allah, grant us clarity of purpose and direction. Ya Allah, relieve our families of any debt or financial hardships or anything that is weighing on us. Ya Allah, enable us to build the institutions and the programs and the startups and the centers that uplift this ummah and uplift all of humanity and that bring us closer to you, Ya Rabbil Alameen. And Ya Allah, lever net the affairs of this dunya, distract us from our worship of you. Ya Allah, as we move to our families and our friends, we ask that you bless each and every one of our family members, protect them from any calamities and grant all of them the best of guidance. Ya Allah, place your barakah, your blessing within our homes. Ya Allah, bless our parents and have mercy upon them the way they had mercy upon us when we grew up. Enable us to honor our parents and preserve and protect them in this life and in the next. For our parents who are struggling financially, emotionally, spiritually, or in any way, Ya Rabb, make us sources of relief for them. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless our youth. Ya Allah, grant our youth the best of foundations of this deen and the best of support systems. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless the generations that are to come after us and grant them firmness in their deen. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless the elderly amongst us and make us benefit from their gains and from their wisdom, Ya Rabb. Ya Allah, for the family members, the mothers, the fathers, those of our loved ones who may be distant from the truth or who have not accepted the truth, Ya Rabb, grant them the best of guidance. Grant us all the best of guidance. Open all of our hearts, Ya Rabb, to Al-Islam. Ya Allah, we have many community members who are struggling with their family. Those of us who have strained relations with our parents and our family members. Ya Allah, give us the strength to mend those broken relationships. Ya Allah, we know that you love the mending of relationships. We know that you love forgiveness. Ya Allah, put it within our hearts and enable us to find it within our hearts to forgive those who have wronged us. Ya Allah, if we are struggling to move past our pain, then make it easy to move past the pain. Ya Allah, protect us from ever wronging anyone with our tongues or our hands. And if we have wronged anyone within our own circles, Ya Rabb, then humble us so we can right those wrongs. Ya Allah, for any of our family members who are not able to make it this month, Ya Allah, for any of our loved ones who are deceased, Ya Rabb, we ask that you grant them, including our father Seljuk, our mother Menderes, and all those who have passed away on faith, grant them ease in the grave, Ya Rabb. Grant them the best of maghfirah, Ya Rabb. Ya Allah, our loved ones are relying upon our deeds, Ya Rabb. Ya Allah, we ask that you use us, our righteous deeds, our dua, our supplication as the means by which their stations in the grave are uplifted, as the means by which their stations in the life to come are uplifted. Ya Allah, use us through which those who have passed away are granted greater increase in the life to come. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless all of those who are looking for a spouse. Ya Allah, grant us spouses and children that will be the coolness of our eyes. Ya Allah, grant our sisters beautiful, respectful, honorable, God-conscious husbands. Grant our brothers beautiful, respectful, honorable, God-conscious wives. Ya Allah, put barakah in the search process for a spouse. And Ya Allah, let every bit of effort we put into seeking a partner also allow us to draw closer to you. Ya Allah, we have couples that are struggling to have children. Ya Rabb, we ask that you bless any family members that are struggling to have children. Make it easy for them, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, we ask for those who are struggling amongst our community that you grant them the best of shifa. Ya Allah, we have multiple people that are struggling with calamities and afflictions, Ya Rabb, and they have requested us to pray on their behalf. They have requested us to use the most blessed nights of these last 10 nights of Ramadan to beseech you, Ya Rabb. We ask that you grant each and every one of these people the best of shifa, the best of healing, and the best of ease with their affairs. Ya Allah, we have a grandmother who's trying to get a visa to come to the US. We ask that you grant her the best of barakah in her efforts. We have a father seeking to secure shares of his inheritance. Put barakah in it. We have a sister who has a mental episode and has spent Ramadan at the hospital because she's afraid to come home. Grant her shifa and ease. Ya Allah, for Ayman's parents, we ask that you heal them and guide his brother. For Sister Umbreen, who has recently been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, grant her the best of shifa. For our cousin Rafif, who is suffering from leukemia, grant her the best of shifa. For the family member of a sister whose younger sister has a neurodevelopmental disability, Ya Allah, grant them ease. For a sister in our community struggling with bipolar disorder, we ask that you grant her ease. For the family member of a sister in our community whose mother and brother have mental illnesses, we ask that you grant them shifa and ease. For an uncle of ours who just had a heart attack this morning, Ya Rabb, who's recovering in the hospital and has 3 daughters, including a newborn, we ask that you grant him a speedy shifa. Ya Allah, for a father of ours who has been recently diagnosed with cancer, we ask that you grant him a speedy shifa. Ya Allah, for our brother Mustafa who has a chronic ankle injury, Ya Rabb, that has led him to be unable to walk or stand, we ask that you grant him a shifa. Ya Allah, for our brother Nasser who has a spinal cord injury due to arthritis and a leg paralysis and pain, grant him the best of shifa. For brother Mirza Muhammad Omar Saad who has issues with his heart for the past few months, grant him the best of shifa. For our grandmother Parveen Chaudhary, grant her the best of bodily strength and the best of peace of mind and a beautiful life. Ya Allah, for a brother in our community dealing with heart complications, we ask that you grant him the best of shifa. Ya Allah, for someone in this blessed community struggling with mental health and PTSD, grant them the best of shifa. For a father of ours who has a benign lymphoma tumor, Ya Rabb, we ask that you grant him the best of shifa. Ensure, Ya Rabb, that tumor disappears, Ya Rabb. For a mother of ours who was in a car accident a few years ago, who is unable to see a physical therapist because of the expense, Ya Allah, grant her the best of shifa, and grant her and her family the best of means to get the treatment she deserves. Ya Allah, for a sister of ours who has had a heart surgery at the age of 24, and that this heart surgery, Ya Rabb, did not work out the way that they had planned, grant her the best of shifa. Grant her the best of surgeries that gives her the treatment and healing she needs. For a brother of ours who just found out he had an ACL tear, grant him the best of surgery and the best of healing. Ya Allah, for a mother of ours who just found out she has breast cancer, grant her the best of shifa. Ya Allah, for a community member of ours who has a paralyzed father and a sick mother, and who themselves is undergoing stress and depression, grant them the best of shifa. Ya Allah, for a grandmother of ours who has lungs that have been ill for the past few months, grant her the best of shifa. For a father who is struggling to recover from a massive stroke, grant him the best of shifa. For an aunt of ours who figured out and learned recently she had stage 4 cancer before she was going on Umrah, Ya Allah, grant her the best of shifa. Ya Allah, for a father of ours who was recommended to see a psychiatrist for memory issues but is having emotional difficulty seeing this psychiatrist, grant him the best of shifa and the best of healing through this treatment. Ya Allah, we ask for a father who's pre-diabetic, who has high blood pressure and cholesterol, grant him the best of shifa. Ya Allah, we have a cousin of ours who passed away last weekend at the age of 18 coming home from Qiyam, grant him the best of maghfirah, Ya Rabb. Grant him the death of a shaheed, Ya Rabb. Grant him the best of sabr for his parents, Ya Rabb. Ya Allah, for our beloved friend Ying who is suffering in a coma after an accident, grant them the best of healing and guidance. For a member in our community who is a diabetic patient who had to take off a semester from studies, who doesn't have enough money to pay rent, Ya Rabb, grant him the best of shifa and the best of assistance. Ya Allah, for a sick grandfather of ours, Hussein, and a grandmother of ours, Fatima, grant them the best of shifa and the best of ease. Ya Allah, for any of our sisters and brothers who have big decisions to make ahead of them, Ya Allah, grant them the best of decisions that's good for their deen and for their dunya and for their akhirah, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, in your verses you remind us that the believing men and the believing women are allies of one another, that our bonds of faith run deeper than the bonds of blood. Ya Allah, enable us to honor the 6 rights of a fellow believer. Ya Allah, if a believer meets us, make us amongst those who say salams to them. If they invite us, make us amongst those who accept their invitation. Ya Allah, if they are sick, enable us to visit them. If they seek our advice, enable us to sincerely counsel them. If they sneeze, enable us to pray for them. And Ya Allah, when they die, enable us to attend their janazah, their funeral. Ya Allah, as a community, let us be allies and supporters and guardians of one another. Ya Allah, grant us relationships that instill within us a positive sense of self and a greater desire to serve you and your creation. Ya Allah, bless all of our newly convert brothers and sisters. Ya Allah, make us communities that fully embrace all of those who come into this deen. Ya Allah, enable us to be amongst those slaves who create spaces that are welcoming, that are not divided based on socioeconomic class or race or national origin or mother tongue. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless this Berkeley Masjid community. Bless each and every one of the community members and family members. Ya Allah, bless and elevate each one of the volunteers who made Ramadan at Berkeley Masjid possible. Ya Allah, for every person who played even the smallest role in feeding a person during this month, Ya Allah, we ask that you infinitely reward them for it. Ya Allah, we take the names of a handful of set of individuals without whom the Ramadan at Berkeley Masjid cannot be possible. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless Sister Najat, who cooked 570 pounds of rice during this month of Ramadan. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless her son, Ali Huwaidi, who set up the men's dining area every single night and packaged meals. Ya Allah, bless Sister Amy, who cut approximately 3,000 oranges during this month of Ramadan. Bless Brother Qazi, who got groceries every day and managed the iftar boxing every day. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless the entirety of the Yasin family. Bless Shama and Babur and Ariba and Umayba and Ibrahim. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless Shama Auntie for her tireless commitment to this community while balancing family duties and never asking for anything in return. Ya Allah, we ask that you bless Habib Uncle for working every single day to keep this masjid running. Bless Brother Gamil for his tireless efforts. Ya Allah, and bless Brother Yahya for putting this list together. Ya Allah, we ask and we pray for this ummah. Your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam tells us that this ummah is like one body, and if any part of the body is afflicted, then this whole part of the body is afflicted with pain. Ya Allah, we raise our hands to you and pray that all the people on this earth, all of those who are struggling with calamity, are granted ease and healing. And we ask of you, Ya Allah, having the full conviction that you are the responder to prayer and the one who never wrongs their creation. So Ya Allah, we ask that you grant a complete shifa to all those people who are struggling. Ya Allah, grant a complete shifa and ease to to those who live day to day in our city streets amongst the unhoused. Ya Allah, grant ease to our victims and survivors of domestic violence and abuse. Ya Allah, grant ease to the victims and the family members of gun violence. Ya Allah, grant ease to the victims and family members of those who have been unjustly and excessively incarcerated in this country, those who have been separated from their family members simply because they couldn't afford cash bail. Ya Allah, we ask that you grant ease to our previously incarcerated populations, those who are denoted to second-class citizenry because of their criminal record and can no longer obtain employment or housing or education. Ya Allah, bless and grant ease to the immigrants and undocumented of this country, those who continue to be criminalized simply because they seek out a better life for their families. Ya Allah, grant ease to our indigenous brothers and sisters, those whose histories and lands continue to be pillaged by this country. Ya Allah, grant ease and healing to our disabled and differently abled brothers and sisters who are so often forgotten. Ya Allah, we turn to you and we ask of this ummah. Ya Allah, we ask that you grant a complete shifa to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Ya Allah, we ask that you wipe off the face of the earth every single war criminal and genocide abettor, every single Zionist and every single white supremacist. Wipe off the face of this earth every single person who played a role in violating the sanctity of Palestine. Ya Allah, we ask that you dismantle and destroy the Zionist settler colonial apartheid state. Ya Allah, grant the best of liberation to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Ya Allah, grant us the unshakable iman of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Ya Allah, we ask that you grant complete shifa and healing to our brothers and sisters in Sudan. Ya Allah, 7 million of whom who have been displaced. Ya Allah, we ask that you end the warfare and calamity. Ya Allah, unite the people of Sudan and replace their hardships with ease. Ya Allah, we ask that you grant ease to our Yemeni brothers and sisters, 22 million of whom are on the verge of famine. Ya Rabb, we ask that you grant ease to our brothers and sisters in Somali and Somaliland. Ya Allah, those who have suffered a civil war for the past 3 decades. Ya Allah, grant ease to our Afghani brothers and sisters, 20 million of whom are living in famine and whose country has been destabilized by the warmongering leaders of this country. Ya Allah, grant ease to our brothers and sisters in the Congo, 6 million who have been displaced as a result of war. Grant ease to our Uyghur brothers and sisters, 3 million of whom are being held in modern-day concentration camps. Ya Allah, grant ease to our Syrian or Iraqi and Middle Eastern brothers and sisters whose lands have been tillaged by the countries of this world. Ya Allah, 250,000 of whom have been murdered in the past 20 years. Ya Allah, make them from amongst the shuhada. Ya Allah, grant ease to our Turkish brothers and sisters who are suffering from a cost of living crisis. Grant ease to our Haitian brothers and sisters, 4.3 million of whom are suffering from acute food insecurity. Ya Allah, grant ease to our Lebanese brothers and sisters who are still enduring an economic crisis. Grant ease to our Egyptian brothers and sisters who have been afflicted with limited resources under a crippling economy. Grant ease to our Malian brothers and sisters who are enduring their own ongoing conflict. Grant ease to our Iranian brothers and sisters in the best of healing and safety. Grant ease to our sisters and brothers in Libya and protect them from further war and conflict. Grant ease to our Kashmiri brothers and sisters who find themselves in an ongoing occupation. Grant ease to our Indian, Pakistani, and Bangladeshi brothers and sisters and ease them of any affliction and pain. Grant ease to our Rohingya brothers and sisters, nearly 1 million of whom have become refugees, who they themselves have been suffering an ongoing genocide for years. Ya Allah, grant ease to our Indonesian brothers and sisters whose lands rest within areas prone to natural disasters. Grant ease to our Azerbaijan and Uzbeki brothers and sisters and protect them from any hardship. Ya Allah, for all of the refugees, all of the victims of warfare and oppression, all of the stateless and the unhoused, grant each and every one of them ease and the best of liberation from oppression. Ya Allah, we ask that you we pray that you ease the struggle of those whose pain we don't know and those whose pain we don't know. Ya Rabbul Alameen, deepen our hearts so we may be conscious of the weak among us in every action we take. Enable us to be the support, the help, and the love through which these people are granted ease. Ya Allah, make us amongst those who have no issue confronting oppression, who have no issue confronting oppressors. Ya Allah, use us through which we administer your justice amongst the oppressors. Ya Rabbul Alameen, you are the most just, and whether it is in this life or on the day of judgment, you will carry out your justice as you promised, as you never wrong your creation. Ya Allah, in your Qur'an, you describe the day of judgment so vividly. Out of a love of wanting us to know the full truth, you describe the chaos of that day so clearly, that the sky will be ripped open and the stars will fall from their stations, that the graves will be turned upside down, that we will be running away from our own family members, so consumed by the outcome of our reckoning. Ya Rabb, that people will have their skins and limbs testifying against them for what they are directed to do. Ya Rabbul Alameen, we read these verses and it shakes our hearts, and it sometimes instills a fear within us. an insurmountable fear that maybe we'll never be good enough to succeed on that day, that maybe regardless of how we choose to live our lives, we will not have success in the life to come. Ya Allah, but you remind us of your mercy on that day, that you only sent one part of your mercy in this life and you saved 99 parts for the day of judgment, so you could show us a mercy that is unfathomable to us. Ya Allah, that your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that if the one who does not believe in you were to realize your mercy, they would never despair in entering paradise. Ya Allah, we ask that you shower us with your mercy on the day of judgment, envelop us with your mercy on that day. Ya Rabbul Alameen, every single messenger had a dua, and your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam saved his dua out of a love of us. He saved his dua for the day of judgment so he could pray for his ummah to be granted Jannah. Ya Allah, we ask that you accept the dua of our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Reunite us with Muhammad al-Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam in al-Firdaus. Ya Allah, you blessed us with Muhammad, a mercy to humankind, so deepen our love for Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Ya Allah, grant us the softness of Muhammad, a man who would be too hesitant to tell people to leave his home after a meal simply for not wanting them to feel exclusive or unwelcome. Grant us the love of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, who even when he had the full right to seek revenge for those who inflicted murder upon his people, he sought love and forgiveness. Grant us the humility of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, who even when he had just enough wealth to live comfortably, he sought to give it all in his quest to place others before himself. Ya Allah, whatever good your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked for, give it to us. And whatever your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam sought protection from, Ya Allah, we ask that you protect it from us. Ya Allah, grant us success on the day of judgment. Ya Allah, grant us Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Allah, grant us Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Allah, grant us Jannatul Firdaus without any reckoning. And grant us the speech and actions that bring us to Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Allah, protect us from the hellfire. Ya Allah, protect us from the hellfire. Ya Allah, protect us from the hellfire and the speech and the actions that bring us to the hellfire. Ya Allah, let our book of deeds be given to us in our right hand. Ya Allah, let us stand under your shade. Ya Allah, let us be reunited with all of our loved ones in the highest stations in the world beyond this one. Ya Allah, we ask that you allow us to be amongst those that could meet you in Jannah. Ya Allah, deepen our desire to meet you. Ya Allah, you who has fashioned us and sustained us, enable us to meet you in the best of manners. Ya Allah, we take a moment in this dua for a moment of silence. Ya Rabbul Alameen, we have gathered here from all places and all walks of life. Ya Allah, in this moment of silence, we will beseech of you and ask of you within our hearts, whatever it is, the things that are weighing down on our souls that we can only seek your assistance from, Ya Rabbul Alameen, we ask that you grant it to us. Ya Allah, we ask that you accept this dua. Ya Allah, as we end this dua, we supplicate in the words of your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, by your knowledge of the unseen and by your power over creation, let us live so long as you know that life is good for us. Ya Allah, let us die when you know that death is better for us. Ya Allah, grant us a fear of you in secret and in public. Ya Allah, make us true in speech in times of pleasure and in anger. Ya Allah, make us moderate in times of wealth and in poverty. Ya Allah, we ask you for an everlasting delight and a joy that never ends. Ya Allah, we ask that you make us pleased with that which you have decreed for us. Ya Allah, grant us a life of coolness after death. Ya Allah, we ask you for the delight of gazing upon your face, and we ask you for the delight and the longing to meet you. Ya Allah, we ask that you beautify us with the adornment of faith and make us guides who are rightly guided. Ya Allah, we ask that you accept this dua. And Ya Allah, for any du'as that were not mentioned or for any du'as that were missed, Ya Allah, we ask that you accept those as well. Ya Allah, you truly are Al-Mujib, the responder to prayer, and we have full conviction that you respond to our du'as. Ya Allah, we ask that you respond to our du'as in the best of manners. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ سُبْحَانَ رَبِّكَ رَبِّ الْعِزَّةِ عَمَّا يَصِفُونَ وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى الْمُرْسَلِينَ وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ وَصَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَى سَيِّدِنَا مُحَمَّدٍ وَعَلَى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
As I said last year, I made a dua when I was making the honor of the grave of Ali Radiallahu Anhu, asking Allah to take my power and put me in His life. And He continued to speak to you in my life, and I ask Allah to increase you in all that is good, and enable you to be amongst those who benefit others in the recitation of, preservation of, learning of the Qur'an. Yeah, if my dad's done it, I think I'm going to.